How's it hanging, everybody? Welcome back to Tag Team, Pokemon Trading Card Games premier podcasting trio. My name is Riley Hulbert, joined as always by my good friends, Mr. JW Kriewall and Mr. Andrew Mahone. And folks, if you're not on the video version of the cast, you're missing out on some crazy emotes. I'm talking like end of the battle pass emote type stuff from JW during the intro. So definitely make sure to pop over to YouTube and see what's going on there. That all said, we got a fun episode for y'all today. The Full Grip Games doubleheader Pitch Black event happened this past weekend, so we're going to be diving into both the standard and GLC events there with the mailbag in the middle and learning about the impact of Pitch Black on both metagames. That all said, boys, how you doing today?
Hey, pretty good, Riley. It's the third day of my new job.
Yeah,
Got a new job in fintech. So,
are you hitting your KPIs and
it's like a support role, so
meetings and
it's like a support role, so we don't really have KPIs, which was something that I asked about going into the job. But yeah, just a lot of circling back, a lot of double clicking on that topic.
Yes.
Closing the loop.
Yeah, following up on that stuff.
Following up, absolutely. But no, I mean, it's only 3 days in. I mean, realistically, what am I doing? Like, I'm doing my security training. I'm like learning the business, doing the onboarding stuff, asking HR all the questions that I need to. It really has been pretty light, but it's been good. Set up some one-on-ones with the rest of the team, and I think it's gonna be like a really healthy work environment. So,
and you've not gotten fished yet, to our knowledge, so that's good.
So true. Yeah, Andrew, how you doing, man?
I'm chilling. The weekend was a lot for me. I was losing my voice at the start of Saturday, which is not great because it's back-to-back like 10 to 12-hour streams, and I was already froggy. My son just started like preschool. He's going to like a Goddard school, and he's doing it 3 days a week and just picked up like a bunch of germs. Obviously, he's got hand, foot, and mouth. Like, yeah, it just off rip, right? So, then we are fielding all of that, and then obviously, and then I gotta like go cast the weekend, and it's like it doesn't matter how cruddy I'm feeling. What am I gonna not like produce the week? I have to produce the weekend. I'm now, the only one who can do it. So yeah, it was just a situation where it was like, okay, here's some cough drops, let's just get after it. And it was a great weekend. I'm very thankful for my co-hosts, and I'm very thankful for everybody who showed up. It was an awesome weekend. Had 154 players for standard, 120 for gym leader challenge. So great turnout, and it seemed like people had a lot of fun. And it was great. And then otherwise, things have been going well. I got a bike seat like equipped to my bike, so now I can take my son out on like bike rides. So that's like very exciting.
I didn't know you went biking at all.
Well, not big into it, but I am excited about it because it's something that me and my son can do together outside. We do lots of stuff outside. I have a jogging stroller that I like, that I take him on jogs with too. But my parents have bikes, and they now live in Akron near the towpath trail. So biking is something that we can all do together as a family, which is really nice for us.
Very special.
That is nice.
Yeah, I don't bike in like an athletic sense, but like casually, I like to ride a bike on a trail.
I actually am a case study in I'm a proof that the statement you never learn how to forget to ride a bike, or you never forget how to ride a bike, it's like riding a bike, you never forget. I'm the case study to the opposite of that. Like, I hadn't biked in so long that I tried to bike for the first time last year, and it was
It
was tough. It was surprisingly difficult.
Dang, bro, that's crazy.
Well, I didn't like bike to classes in college or anything. I hadn't biked since like elementary school. You know, it just wasn't something that I needed to do or had a bike available to do. So yeah, you pick it up fast. I will say, like if you biked before, it's easy to pick up, but you definitely
Riley just falling over in Charlie Chaplin style.
Yeah.
Down the
I gotta say, I haven't ridden a bike in like a few years because Natalie and I have bikes, but then like it just kind of collected dust for a few years. We just didn't use them, and then once they got dusty and the tires went, it was like, okay, well now they're gonna. I'm gonna have to take them in and get them. I'm gonna have to get them, cleaned up at the shop or whatever and fixed up. So I'm gonna have to get them tuned at the shop. So like that, we just kicked that cane down the road forever. But now that we could take our son out, there's more motivation. So like I got him in the seat on the back, and I like have the bike at the top of my driveway, and like you guys see my driveway. It is extremely steep. It is a huge hill, like unreasonably large hill, right? Just like looking out, and I'm like, I haven't ridden my bike in like years, and now I've got a 2-year-old strapped in the back, and I'm like, well, I ain't walking down this hill, so like we're just gonna see how it goes.
Oh, and man.
It was thrilling.
Yeah, I would have liked.
It was thrilling, dude, for sure. Nah, you never forget, bro. You never forget how to ride a bike.
You do. I don't know what fraud like made that phrase, but it's just not true.
It's like riding a bike.
It had been like 20 years though, mind you. Like I don't think I've biked since I was like 10. So.
That is a very long time.
Yeah, that's most of my life.
I'm curious what the science would say.
What the science? Yeah, can we get the fact checkers on this one?
Exactly. So, Riley, how you doing, man?
Oh, I've been good. It's been just a busy season of my life. It just is what it is. As we, moving into a house and having a wedding on the horizon, and work's picked up recently. It was on kind of a slower period to start the year, and that didn't last nearly long. I didn't appreciate it enough when I was in it. So, that is what it is. I had a friend actually who is working for Epic in Australia who is back in town this week, so we got to get lunch together. That was nice. That was really fun. And yeah, we were really deeply affected here in Madison by the whole wildfire situation in Canada. So last weekend was just like kind of like hole up indoors, avoid breathing too much air type situation. But we made it through. It's beautiful now, and yeah, life goes on, does it not? So yeah, but good. We actually had our first guests over to the house as well. That was fun.
And it wasn't us.
It wasn't us. But the seats are open for you guys. Seriously. We could do a trio podcast app on the couch. Imagine that.
Ooh.
I'd be down. Madison, Milwaukee regionals, maybe.
Yeah, that would actually be dope.
So,
sadly, Pokemon has outgrown Madison being a viable regional location.
Yeah.
God, that was such a nice one, though.
It was really nice. The venue is amazing. I still think that venue is amazing.
And I found $10 on the ground there.
Which makes it an auspicious venue.
But, it was beautiful. Yeah.
But there's just no way we could fit Pokemon tournaments anymore there, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's nice too. But yeah. What do we say we dive in, folks?
Let's go for it.
So the Full Grip Games Pitch Black doubleheader, like I said, it just wrapped up this past weekend. Andrew was diving in, no voice, but lots of energy and plenty of cough drops, and made it through somehow, some way. And here we are on the other side. And folks, what deck could win if not for Dragapult with hammers? Am I right? Am I so right on that one, folks?
And it was like the most boring list too. Just like nothing new. Like, no, I mean, the Dragapult doesn't get a ton from the new set, but like, no Call Bell, no Gwyn. It's just the most vanilla list that
straight out of NAIC.
Yeah.
Okay, but playing like the most vanilla list is a tried and true strategy in a new
I'm
format.
not
just ignore the new set
it.
and play the most tried and true deck.
I'm not knocking it. It's just like, there's no Spite, there's no Moltres, there's no Chiyu, there's no it's just
you don't need any of that.
I know.
Dude,
know
that stuff's crap. That's
what stuff is good? All the stuff that's here. Caleb's list is a little interesting. It's got the 3rd Darkness and a 3rd Night Stretcher. So, like, it's got extra counts of those. Also, the 2 Risky Ruins. I mean, that's the thing. So, like, going in on the Risky Ruins, saying, like, no, I'm not playing any of that Watchtower crap. I don't care about, any of the colorless abilities. Not playing Jamming Tower, not worried about tools. Like, just going in and playing, like, the best possible straight Dragapult list I can fathom. And honestly, list is sick. I mean, it's straightforward. It's consistent. It does everything it's supposed to do well. And I'm just the nastiest plays that the deck can make are like your Crushing Hammer on Fair Stamp plays. And that's exactly what won him the tournament. So, like, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like the power of Crushing Hammer was really obvious in the finals. So the final match was a shocking matchup to me with Lucario getting 2nd place. A deck I have time and time again kicked in the stomach and will continue to do so in the future, to be clear. But Lucario, if any deck should be able to deal with energy removal, it's the one that explicitly accelerates it out of the discard while potentially KOing a support Pokemon for 2 prizes. But it's just so brutal to like take that knockout and remove the energy off of the bench. And you saw that happen time in both of the games that were won by Dragapult, is taking a KO somewhere, removing energy somewhere else on the board. You're knocking like 4 energy off out of play in one turn. That's just so difficult to come back from. You lose so much momentum as the Lucario or whatever player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I double
agree.
Hammerheads stamp. Yeah, crazy.
I know. It was wild to. I agree with you, Riley. Like to see Lucario in finals, but Carter Malnack is a top 25 player this year in terms of CP accrued in NA. So no slouch. I am pretty surprised that they would bring a Lucario deck. You were watching, Andrew. Did this impress you over the weekend, or were the flaws?
I mean, the Lucario deck. He beat Jesse in top 4.
Yeah.
Which was, Slow King, right? Like on paper, you'd be like, well, Slow King hits Lucario for weakness. This shouldn't be too bad. But the fact that Lucario can just get in there quick, punch a Kangaskhan, can knock out Meowth very easily. A lot of times you might only have to knock out 1 single prizer. And then you've got like Latias is a guaranteed 2 prizer on the bench. Kangaskhan is 3. So it was good. I mean, it was solid. It just operated consistently. The accompanying flute was like terrible. Didn't do anything. From any of the games that I saw.
It kind of screwed Jesse, I think, right? In game.
I mean, there was a time where Jesse had to put a second Latias down.
2.
Like, I guess, there's that. But it seemed like okay. I don't think that Lucario is like this like up and coming meta
BDIF
dog now. I think that like Carter's just a good player, and the deck was super consistent in a brand new format, and like kind of like what Riley said, just play like a consistent, reasonable deck in a brand new format. You'll probably do well, type of thing.
Does it like beat the Dragapult counters? It's kind of the only thing I can really think. I mean, maybe it has. They used to argue, we used to argue, or players at large used to argue, like Lucario had a somewhat favorable matchup into Dragapult. I don't think that's the case but is that kind of what we're seeing here? Is like, okay, Lucario is good into the counters of Dragapult, and that's maybe a reason to play it?
Listen, I'm not giving you any reasons to play Lucario. I'm not saying that there is a reason to play it. Yeah, you tried to like put me on that side. Like, I'm not on that side. Just because it got second place at the Full Grip tournament doesn't mean I'm advocating that anybody should play it.
Okay, well, spell out the journey though. Like, what did Lucario like? Do you have any idea? I guess, did you see it over the course of the day? What did Lucario do to get here, besides Carter being the GOAT?
Lucario, well, it beat. We did see it 2 rounds. I forget what the first round was, but then we saw it beat Jesse. The first round, I feel like was against Hydrapple, but I'm not exactly sure. And I remember player got a game loss for accidentally drawing 8 off of Lily when he should have drawn 6, because it was like irreversible by the time he did it. It wasn't just like, oh, put 2 back, and like it was like by the time it was caught, it was like down the line. It seemed like it knocked out 2 prizers with efficiency. And Carter played it well. I mean, you go in with like Lucario, and then like he was good at playing the single prize board until like a final Lucario came up. I didn't see the Lucario deck brick at all. A lot of the things that like usually made me not want to play Lucario, like just whiffing random crap all the time. Carter wasn't really dealing with any of that. Like, the deck looked smooth from when he was playing it, but I know from experience that like you start that Makuhita and like can't move it like a decent amount of time, and that you like miss random energies to attack like a decent amount of time. Stuff like that. Or you like will miss Mega Lucario when you really need it. Like, you're just like, well, I'm gonna Lily. I need to find Lucario.
Yeah, that's like the single hardest card to find in the deck, I think. The Mega.
Exactly. So like, I didn't see Carter, kind of have any of those classic Lucario flubs that I'd usually, come to expect. And, I mean, he's a solid player. He's been playing a lot of Pokemon this year, and played like a consistent hard-hitting deck. It's fine, and I think it's fine. I think that's how it got here.
Yeah, but it is interesting. You say like, oh, this may not be like a secret deck. I'm curious what the thought process is, because I understand that Carter got this list from Aban, who also played it in a, World Cup, the World Cup online tournament in the new format, pitting players from different countries against each other. But Aban was playing the Lucario deck in that event as well. So there's like clearly been some thought put into Lucario for this new format. Whether or not it has any actual staying power, I mean, I'm as skeptical as it sounds like.
So what do you think the thought process is then, Big Dog? You keep asking me what I think the thought process is. I'm telling you, I don't see it. So what do you think?
No, yeah, I agree. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all, really. Like it has to. I feel like maybe it has a good Dragapult matchup, although I'm skeptical on that.
Lost to Pult in the finals.
Well, that's one set, but I always thought that was kind of like what players were
Carter
thinking
beat
about.
Carter beat Alakazam on stream. So the match I saw was Carter beat Alakazam, and then I saw Carter beat Slowking.
Beat Jesse
on stream.
So
like the single prize decks, it was kind of just a situation of like Lucario got in there quickly and consistently, and the single prize decks just reared their inconsistencies in front of Lucario. That's what it looked like when Carter beat Alakazam and Slowking.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. The single prize decks were like missing stuff, and the Lucario deck just really wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
well, it's interesting. The psychic single prize decks don't actually benefit from the psychic weakness really on Lucario. Like the Slowking, I guess, does technically need it to get a KO with Metagross, but it's KOing like most relevant threats with Metagross anyway, so like kind of a wash. And then the Alakazam doesn't do damage, so it doesn't hit for weakness. So like the psychic weakness isn't maybe as debilitating in the format as it maybe looks. You know, people aren't playing freaking Mewtwo crap, except at the World Cup of Pokemon, I guess.
So we're just thinking this is a fraud watch. Curious what.
I don't know if I'd call it like a fraud. I just like it's just still, you know, I mean, like anything can happen.
Like what are you hoping to roll when you hit Lucario, right? Are you hoping to hit Dragapult?
I mean, it's interesting.
To me, like the stats have never really actually supported that, despite people saying the matchup's good. So.
Yeah, and then I always thought the Festival Lead was bad, and it's got to be even worse now with the Gladion.
Yeah, with the Gladion, and with the Gladion, you can even truck through the Hariyama and a single prizer and what.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, Festival Lead has to be horrible. So maybe just like it kind of this is a relatively small sample set, but yeah, you're conceding maybe some of these
it probably
single
smokes
prize
Excadrill,
decks.
right? Because you can 1KO.
Yeah. So Excadrill, so maybe it just has that reach, and then you do have a little bit of cheese with the flute. But yeah, I mean, this is not really backing up kind of how his tournament run went, right? Like I would expect Alakazam to just throttle this deck. Again, very small sample size off of the limitless PBL format results, but I would expect like the single prize decks to just body it, right? So Alakazam, nothing. Delma, I mean, this has to be a horrible matchup. Slowking obviously is going to be bad. Festival Lead, probably the worst among those. So yeah, I'm not really getting it, to be honest, but that's maybe why, you know, he had, you know, like doubled the CP that I did this year.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the thought process, in my opinion, with Lucario is basically the same as always of let's just one-shot some support Pokemon real quick with Aura Jab, and then KO something big after that.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, is that this format specifically has so many decks that are single prize decks that can play a single prize board. Festival Lead. And
but like Slowking is like playing down crap, all sorts of crap, and you know, obviously Festival Lead's not, but Festival Lead's only so much of the meta, right? The Dhelmise deck, like I don't think people are seriously playing that at scale. So like maybe Alakazam is a problem, that's fair. But like, I mean, you're just going all in. Like the accompanying flute, in my opinion, is a statement that you're going all in. I'm going to KO some freaking Meowths and Pheasantipides. And if you try and hide them in the deck, I'm gonna take them and I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
That seems a little unreliable to me, but
the two judge puts in a decent amount of work against Alakazam.
Yeah, sure. So maybe the lists just are not good for the deck, and the matchup percentages are improved. I mean, Judge, yeah, anything can happen with Judge, right? Anything can happen with the flute, but yeah, this just I can't come to terms with this one. Rest of the top 8 had
fine deck.
I don't even want to talk more about it. The rest of the top 8,
you're validating its existence by
the rest of the top 8 had, we saw another Dragapult, we saw a couple of Hydrapple decks, and so I wanted to talk about those as well. We did see Austin Charles with a unique Hydrapple deck, and then I guess Chris is also kind of unique here with the Prime Catcher, but what I really like about Austin's deck, and this is very similar to what I have been testing, is that they included the secret box and an air balloon to be able to go, reliably go second with the deck, and then either start the Ogerpon or find secret box or switch or air balloon to go get into a Celebi and then attack that way. So I think this list is very much geared toward getting that, turn 2 or turn 1 going second Celebi, and I think that is playing into the strength. I'm surprised players haven't played Secret Box with Air Balloon. I've been testing that a lot. My issue with this deck is that you're just not. Unfortunately, I haven't found that you're beating Dragapult consistently enough, and he did end up losing to it in top 8.
Yeah, it's the problem.
Isn't that the problem every deck?
That's the thing. That's the thing is like it looks like it looked good in Austin's game against Pult, and then it was just
it got
a double hammer stamp. Yep. It was a double hammer stamp to 2, and everything just.
To be fair, it's a 25% chance. So like the percentages are in his favor in that case, right? Because I do think if it's probably less than a 25% chance because there's the chances that he draws into energy. He had plenty of energy on the board. So it was a huge feels bad where, the Dragapult deck just threaded the needle in terms of finding the one way back of getting rid of both energy on the active Hydrapple. Because I do think that if Austin gets that knockout there, he does win that game in that set. But being able to deny that attack was too much.
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, that's the thing about Dragapult is that it just feels like that there's just always a way.
Yeah.
There is always a way. There's always a line. That's the most appealing thing about Pult, right? So it's like we saw, what could have potentially been a tournament winning run for Austin if he dodges Slow King in top 4, right? And then hits Lucario in the finals, then, that could be, we'd be telling a different story. But instead, Austin's story ended with a double hammerhead stamp to dead draw type beat, and he lost. And it's because Pult can always just find a way, right?
Yeah.
And with enough of them in the field, somebody's going to find a way. It's kind of the inevitability of it. One of the Pult players is going to be making those gnarly plays throughout the day. There's going to be enough of them made that some of them will end up in the right spots, and that's how Pult wins the tournament. So it did feel like with NAIC you had, Blitzel, James List, you had people building decks like that were all in on beating Pult, disregarding all single prize decks. Did not feel like that was something that you could do at this tournament. Was ignore the single prize decks. So then you just have, the single prize decks are just doing what they do and lose to Dragapult. And then even the decks that are supposed to beat Dragapult are kind of doing what they do. And that's have a 50-50 to Dragapult,
Yeah.
And everything plays out exactly as Pult wants it to.
So you're saying it's the single prize deck's fault that Dragapult's winning the tournaments?
Always has been.
Yep. Because they're filtering out the decks that have a chance.
Always has been. Yeah. Like the Excadrills. The Excadrills are going to beat the Dragapults. But the Excadrills are not beating the single prize decks. So that was the problem. Is if everybody had just agreed to just play the decks that beat Dragapult would not have won. But you've got the Excadrill decks are out there. Thad, who's been streaming with me lately, he played Excadrill. He only played against one Dragapult deck. And he 2-0'd it. He said it was the fastest round of the day.
Yeah.
Not close.
But he lost all the, Alakazams.
Alakazams and your the festival lead and stuff like that.
Gotta be horrible too. Yeah.
Oh my God, festival lead is miserable. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he played against Luke Giffen actually, who's the senior, the senior NAIC or the junior NAIC champ. This year played against Luke Giffen. Luke Giffen was on Festival Lead and played Growing Energy in his Festival Lead deck, so the Excadrill couldn't hit it with a 90 attack.
90. Yep. I think that's a really important tech actually, because it also provides some safety against the Chi-Yu that does 40 and discards the stadium.
Oh, that's true.
Not that that's seeing a ton of play, but it's still you're getting that coverage if people are really teching against the Festival League deck.
Nastiness.
But I really like Hydrapple. I tested a lot for this format. And Andrew, you and I have played the Hydrapple matchup, but into Dragapult, like I don't think you have any play, and I'm like being very well, I don't think you have any play into Dusknoir. Just like period.
Sure.
Point blank.
Okay, sure. Yeah, your guy getting one shot's bad. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then I maybe actually argue that the best Pult variant to play against is the Blaziken version.
Oh, for
ironically,
because it's such a fraud.
Because it sucks.
Well, and then you're like, yeah, you're not favorable, or even I would argue even into the Hammers version. Like they have to do something horribly wrong for you to be even into that matchup.
That's crazy.
So that's where I just kind of like, I'd love for Hydrapple to be good. I just don't quite see it. And maybe I don't have the spice. Like maybe this is just the list.
Scoop up Cyclone. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. That? Maybe the scoop up Cyclone. No, I do like Secret Box. I will defend Secret.
No, because all this deck needs to do is work, and it should win every single game.
Yeah, it needs to work. I think the Secret Box is very important. It's very important.
What are you talking about?
It's really important, I think, against the item lock decks, against the Dragapult decks, to go second. And that's, I think, where, the Secret Box shines, is being able to pick out your Lilies and then the Air Balloon and then like a Pokepad and get into the Celebi, while being able to have a huge hand. So there are some other counters that I don't love, like Xerosix can be really nasty, or Judge, right, if they play it early. Those can be really nasty cards as well, but yeah,
like Xerosix, the Celebi turn.
Yeah, right, because you're gonna like Lilies for 8 and then draw a few cards with Ogerpon and like get everything set up and like pick, and especially if they're playing an item lock deck, like you're playing your bug catching set, so you're like you're adding cards to your hand, and then if they Xerosix you, it just gets gross. And then the Moltres.
Yeah, I'm a Meowth for Xerosix. Screw you.
I mean, it really hurts in this deck, especially if you're playing something like one stretcher. Those are only the kinds
of plays that happen online.
No, dude. Yeah. No, dude. No. If you Celebi for 3 cards and you have a hand that you just Lilies.
But they have to play Xerosix in the first place, which is such an online card.
Well, right. They do have to have it. Yeah, they do have to have it for sure.
Well, they can Meowth for it, right? But like,
yeah. But I don't think that's unreasonable for a Dragapult deck to play. Anyway,
yeah, I'm Ultra Ball for Meowth, Xerosix, and Purdue. Your go.
I'm just outlining kind of like what concerns me about the deck, right? There's like these soft counters that are just annoying to run into. So anyway, I still do like Hydrapple, but
how do you guys think the format would be different? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
How do you guys think the format would be different if Crushing Hammer did not exist right now and Dragapult had to play without it?
It'd probably just be Dust. I think everyone would just play Dusknoir.
Anything like fundamentally,
like that to me. That to me is the
would persist between.
That's the second best Dragapult comeback card that exists.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Stamp. Dusknoir, stamp, one shot your guy versus getting, not having to sack that prize, 2-shotting, but your opponent doesn't have the right energy to attack with their active, right? Because you crush.
I just feel like without the hammers, Dragapult can't pull off some of the like truly egregious comebacks that you're describing with like the double hammer stamp type stuff. Like I don't think Dusknoir like replicates that situation.
Well, some people do play both, to be fair, and you may argue that
yeah, they do.
you may argue that that's the best way to play it. So
yeah, it would just. I feel like Pult would just find something else silly to play. Whatever the next most broken card you could play in the format, it would just play 4 of those. It would probably be playing more Dark Bells and things like that. Because we did see. I saw Dark Bell played in like almost every Pult deck that I saw on stream on Saturday, which was pretty interesting because it's not something that I had really clocked as like a good Pult card. But thinking about it, it makes a ton of sense. For the same reason that Hammer is good, the Dark Bell is good, and that you're just trying to pull off these Hail Mary, like, I can fuse you, I hammer you, I stamp you to 2, and because all a Pult needs is like 2 turns at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And then you win, right? So like Dark Bell just plays into that, like stamp Dark Bell, like I'm gonna hit, and if you like even if you just like if you can't switch, that's a 50-50 on you getting to attack next turn, which is like, you know.
Yeah, let me Sorosic your Celebi, Dark Bell it, and
I mean,
so I was impressed by Dark Bell. I know Caleb didn't play it. We haven't mentioned this yet, by the way, but like Caleb is 13. He is a senior player that defeated a room of 150 Masters to take the win. It was awesome watching him play. He played great. He's an accomplished senior player as well. Has some real nice finishes also. So like, he played great. But I liked the Dark. He didn't play the Dark Bell. I liked the Dark Bell when I saw it, and like I got it conceptually, and I think it like is a natural fit for the deck. It's like just another wrench you could throw at your opponent when you're trying to just like screw them up at the end, right? So why not play that? You want as many wrenches as possible.
Yeah. The one viable card from Pitch Black, just Dark Belling and Dragapult. Screw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm going to be messing around with that card for sure. In Dragapult, I think there's a lot of good applications. I don't even think that you need to go like lean super heavily into it. I was seeing some lists that played like Yveltal. Like I don't think that card is that good right now. We also saw Blaziken, right? Gabe Smart lost to Jesse in top 8. So
and Jesse top 4 with Slowking, dude.
Yeah, Slowking. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about Slowking? Are we on Slowking?
That Slowking game 3, it was rough against Lucario.
Are we feeling good about Slowking? Are we feeling horrible about Slowking? Really?
Broken deck. Dude, Jesse didn't play against any shamans the whole day and just got to bully decks around. Like, it was insane. It just go like, all right, and I'll Trifrost, game over. And I'll Trifrost, game over. Like, it was insane. It was absolutely insane. And ultimately lost because of the inconsistencies of his deck,
Dang.
Yep. You hate to see it.
Just because of the inconsistencies of my deck.
Had like a chance to win at the end if maybe maybe he had attached an energy to a Clefairy and kind of made Carter choose between Kangaskhan and Clefairy, but instead he attached the energy to the Slowpoke without like win in hand, and then Carter just like gusted up the Kangaskhan and knocked it out, and then it was like, okay, well now Jesse doesn't have like Fez, doesn't have like Kangaskhan in play, and just like couldn't draw again, and then it gave Carter an opportunity to just win after that. So I don't know. I mean, the thing about Slowking is that the highs are so high. I sometimes could be a hater on Slowking, and when I'm being a hater, it's not that like I will say that that's a crap deck or whatever, and I'll say that a lot, and but as I do. But sometimes when I'm saying that, it's like I'm saying that in jest somewhat, in that I just wouldn't play that deck because I don't like the wager that you're making.
But let me push back on your pushback. Just thinking about the cards that are in Slowking, I think you have the best or some of the best combinations of cards. Like there's maybe an argument that in this format, outside of Lily's, Cypher Maniac is the best supporter that we have. I think there's a very strong argument to say that Trifrost is the best attack in the game right now, just a single attack in the game right now. And then you could say Telepathic Energy is, that is without a doubt the best energy in the game right now.
All right, let me push back on your pushback on my pushback.
Yeah.
Academy at Night is like the worst stadium in the
game. Okay. Low blow on that one.
And you are playing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Pokemon in your deck that have absolutely no function. So yeah, there may be some good cards, but there's also some really terrible ones too. So who's to say?
Well,
but I get it. I like the highs of Slowking. I do, and that's why I predicted that one would end up in the top 8 of NAIC. And it did, right? There was exactly one, and it was Ross Cawthon playing very well. And I think Jesse played well throughout the tournament. It really was able to capitalize on the meta call of like people not respecting Slowking for this particular event and not playing Shaman, right? Because Slowking is a deck that gains absolutely nothing from Pitch Black. So I think that people were maybe like not ready for Slowking to show up to this event. And Jesse got to reap the benefits of that. So I felt like it was a good meta call. He played well. And the highs of Slowking are extremely high. So that's kind of my assessment of it. I actually think that I would be considering Slowking after watching Jesse play it. I'd be considering Slowking for Worlds. I was like, at first I didn't really get why Jesse liked the deck. But then after watching him play,
you just end the game. You just end the game so quick, or you
so
can
fast.
end the game so quick.
Yeah,
but that's like
so fast.
That's what I hate. That's what I mean. That's the problem with a deck like that is like you're not seeing your whole deck, right? Like if the game doesn't end by turn 3, you know the win percentage of the deck has to just be dropping dramatically, right? If you're not just putting on that crazy initial pressure with Trifrost or getting big knockouts on megas early, the deck doesn't really have. I mean,
at least you got like the Kang Fez engine. Like that's probably the best like basic engine you could have in the game right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're not seeing a lot of your deck, right? You're like ending games with like 30 cards in deck, win or lose. So
yeah, but it's like you don't need all the cards in your deck. I mean, most of them are just copies of each other.
Right.
So it's chill. I'm actually. What is the purple Annihilate for? What does Psychic Annihilate for? What does that do? I see what it does. Like
it's a
the
Shaman
ghostly
counter.
blow.
It's a Shaman counter, right? Because it can place damage counters.
It places 5 damage counters.
So over the course of 2 turns against like Festival Lead, I guess.
Oh, it's Festival Lead tech. I see.
Well, how is it a Festival Lead tech? Because they might play like the Relor, Rabska.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're cooked if they get the Rabska.
Are they
out,
setting up
like,
both Rabska and Shaman? Like,
well,
I mean,
probably against Slowking, actually.
But if you go first to Slowking, they don't have time to set up Rabska, so they have to go Shaman, right?
No, they can play I guess they can't.
The Tome.
Yeah, I mean,
then you
can
could go Annihilate. Also,
that would be crazy.
You can monkey for the Tome.
I was saying the Forest.
Relor only has 50 hit points too, so you just knock out a Relor.
But you could spawn it into play with the Forest.
I think that is troll, the Forest.
Fine.
Okay.
I think Jesse did say that he would cut it, right?
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even mentally process when he said that he played 2 different Annihilates. I thought he was talking about the fighting one. Then I saw when he pulled this image up that there was a second worse Annihilate.
I don't necessarily believe in either of the Annihilate.
That's
really.
What I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that the Metagross and the Kyurem, those are the important parts. And if you want to be a cutie patootie, you can put the Zeraora in there. But that's like...
Yeah, but what if you just cut... I mean, can Kyurem and Metagross get you there? Like, what if you just cut... That's like 3 cards, right? You just cut Annihilate, and Zeraora. And then now you can put all that towards consistency, and now you're the best deck.
You should put a second Metagross in the deck.
Yeah. What would you actually play with those slots, JW? I'm curious.
Well, you'd play the 4th Mega Kang. That I think is like without a doubt.
That fixes everything.
And then you would play... I don't know, maybe another supporter, like a Gwyn, maybe?
No, a second Lucky Helmet, dude.
Second Lucky Helmet? I could see that.
So you're still ending the game with 40 cards in your deck, but now another one of them is Lucky Helmet?
Yeah. Yeah, now you get it. Now you get it.
To me, the deck is just like a Shaman check in a lot of ways.
Sure.
It's a Shaman check. You can win games.
You can play the horse
sometimes. The horse.
If you're worried about Shaman, you play the horse.
Place 12. Yeah.
Spec Trier.
You play the horse. Place 12. Yeah.
Spectrier.
For sure.
Well, that one sucks because you discard all the energy. I mean, you have Boomerang, but
yeah, you get the
just
Boomerang.
Like discards all the energy to take one prize, like versus the Kyurem, which discards all the energy to take 3 prizes.
It's fine.
Okay, so is this real? Are we like agreeing?
Be a little crunchy. They can.
Do we agree? Do we agree that the Slowking is better than Lucario?
That's like not even fair. Yeah.
I think that Slowking is the best single prize deck.
Okay.
I think like it's
Slowking is like kind of teetering the line on single prize deck to me with how much multi-prize nonsense is on the bench.
It is. I think Slowking and Alakazam are the two that I'm highest on right now. Festival Lead still suffers from those inconsistency issues. It just still does. And you wish it didn't, but it just does. You look at a deck like Festival Lead and you look at a deck like this. This deck has Telepathic and Kangaskhan. It's just very easy to set things up. The Festival Lead deck, you're just hoping that you open a Buddy and you know, maybe a butt catching set, and that you've got like you've got all your evolutions in your hand.
But it's so good once you're online.
It is, but getting there, you know.
Yeah.
I expected more from Festival Lead, and I just didn't get it. And I haven't.
You didn't expect anything from Festival Lead.
Yeah, for this format, I did. I was high on it for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that seemed to be a takeaway from me as well. It just Festival Lead kind of flopped, and is that just, you know, because it did win, you know, major tournament overseas, right? I won a Master Ball League in Indonesia or Malaysia, and so, you know, seeing that didn't really translate. Again, fairly small sample size, right? But that didn't really translate into this event. Like, it didn't seem at all that there were any Festival Lead towards the top of the tables.
Right.
So, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, why do you think it flopped so hard? It's just losing to Dragapult. Just not a good Dragapult. But I feel like you had tested that, right? Like, you were fairly confident with the Dragapult matchup, were you not?
Just can go either way, man. It just depends.
Fairly confident in a Dragapult matchup is what, like 45, 55?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's every deck in the format's fighting for that 45, 55.
Literally, like that's what good against Dragapult means, is that I won some games.
Yeah. If everything goes right, if I draw the exact right card, and if I don't prize anything perfectly, and
I win. If they dead draw a little, I win. Yeah. You know, those games where like Dragapult like doesn't get Buddy turn 1. Oh, I can win those.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude,
it's like that.
No deck has 3 Buddy Poffin in hand turn 1 like Dragapult does, though.
That's facts.
I mean, yeah, but those games where they don't, man. Oh man, you can win those. Oh, they didn't get a monkey down turn 2. Oh, I can win that one. But like most of the time they're getting a monkey down. But like if they didn't, oh, I can win.
That's funny. That is funny. Well, any other takeaways besides? I mean, maybe Mega Excadrill was another no-show for this event. Maybe would have expected, because you were kind of high. Like you were saying, yeah. I think if I do recall that you made a prediction on top eight for a Mega Excadrill. You were pretty high on that deck.
Yes, because it is one of the only decks with a good proper Dragapult matchup. It is actually in the green. Like, it is actually solid by a lot. I mean, you're beating Dragapult. It's like probably 65-35.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough to lose, to be honest. As the Excadrill player, you put 5 of them energy on there and you just start doing 330. You fry them up, play an ice cream cone. God, it's so easy.
Yeah.
The hammers don't really matter.
Ignore the trainer hill stats.
ignore anything that you're reading there. I mean, honestly, because to be honest, like Thad beat Pult Blaziken 2-0. I mean, like, anecdotally, that was like the Pult he beat. He said it was so easy. I mean, you've got Metagross, you've got the Gravity, but like the Excadrill lists are all over the place right now, and a lot of them are playing Trolley. And I don't think that Trolley is going to beat Dragapult because they're just going to go second and item lock you, and then you will not set up the game. So I think it's like a huge problem that there are Excadrill players out there trying to play Trolley. I think that is not good. And I think they'd be better off playing Buddy Buddy Poffins because you could actually have like a going first game plan if you do that, right?
Yeah.
So there's really no consensus on what a Mega Excadrill list should look like right now. Absolutely none. The community is actually all over the place with it.
What do you walk away? I mean, outside of Dragapult just being, the GOAT deck, maybe the best deck of all time, spanning so many different formats, certainly rivaling like a Gardevoir EX. But what do you walk away from this event after having seen it in action from these players, like as kind of the format defining deck? Again, outside of Dragapult, like what are the big decks to watch that maybe could make a splash at upcoming tournaments or at Worlds?
Yeah, straight Dragapult.
I mean, it's just Dragapult.
Slowking, I think, is one to continue watching. Like, not just a Roscoth not just a Roscoth and Miracle. Like, that deck is real. And then I also, I came away kind of curious about Mega Greninja. I saw it win a game on stream. And, I think Mega Greninja is a deck that's probably just too inconsistent, but the highs are certainly high. Mega Greninja seemed good for the same ways that Slowking is good, and the Mega Greninja was really the worst part. But getting a quick Terra Slowking with the Mirage Barrage to just knock Terra out Ninja. Two things, because again, nobody was playing Shaman, right? So I think my biggest takeaway was that the strongest plays that I saw of the event were ones that could take advantage of the lack of Shaman and Dragapult lists. Because Dragapult players, let's be honest, they're not going to play Shaman. They're just not. So
think about, the biggest application is Slowking, and you need that turn 2.
Yeah.
Right? So, you're wasting resources getting it out. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, right? It's Dragapult probably just shouldn't play Shaman. Rare Candies I could get behind. I think Rare Candy is quite good in Dragapult, but
oh yeah.
But yeah,
but if you're trying to cheese Shaman. The lack of Shaman, why wouldn't you just play Slowking instead of Greninja at that point?
For sure. I think what I was impressed about with Greninja was the sniping, which then leads me to just actually it was the kind of Slowking aspect of the Greninja deck that I was really appreciating. So I just would rather see Slowking, I think, because I think next to each other the Slowking's just the better deck.
Tracks. Well, good stuff. All right, fellas, we got to talk about GLC, but first let's dive into the mailbag. We did have a question about Cynthia's Garchomp. Hey goats. Andrew finished in 9th place with 611, bubbled out at the 3K with Cynthia's Garchomp, going 6-1 into round 8 and ID'd with the he said he ID'd with Caleb Florian, but that was the winner of this event, so I don't know. He said Hydrapple, but he ID'd with a Hydrapple, maybe. Do you guys think this was correct? And does this run change anything about how you view Garchomp? Andrew, Andrew to Andrew? Andrew to Andrew, what's your answer?
I know Andrew G. He's been hanging out in the chats lately, and I met him at Indy, where he played Cynthia's Garchomp, of course, and had a good run. He had a good run with it at this event. Oh, you didn't tell me round 1 was a bye, Andrew G. Okay, so and then you ID'd the last one, so
you really only played 6 rounds.
Yeah, okay, so let's start there.
So we went 5-1.
But honestly, the Dragapult matchup seems good, real good for Cynthia's Garchomp. I think Cynthia's Garchomp can hold its own versus Alakazam, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I personally think that Cynthia's Garchomp has some upside, and it's
he's hedging, folks.
It's a consistent deck that sets up. But for me, the matchups just aren't there across the board, and I don't know that it has what's going to draw me to play a deck like Cynthia's Garchomp when I could just play Dragapult.
Yep.
What's the upside there?
if you were legitimately playing against the Hydrapple and you knew that, though, probably the right choice to ID in that situation.
Yeah,
your ninth place run made me happy for you because, like, I know that Andrew has put a lot of work into that Cynthia's Garchomp list, and you shouldn't have to just ask what I think. Just go prove us wrong, you know?
That's
like,
right.
Am I gonna play Cynthia's Garchomp to a regional upcoming? Absolutely not. I couldn't see it, but I'm proud of you, and you should have your own. You have your own convictions, you know, and your own opinion.
And it's important. It's important to do that.
Like,
I think we're too worried about, you know, pleasing other people or getting the, you know, optimized deck list and copying others. Like, we should be. I agree with you, Andrew. Having our own convictions, bringing our own
free thinkers,
to the table.
Man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because if you're just taking, you know, if you're just net decking a list, like, it's no better than asking ChatGPT. You know, you might as well just be using AI to write your deck list.
Correct.
Yeah, it's so fun to say
JW knows
things
because he's been watching AI Pokemon TCG videos.
No, dude. Okay, so I have not. I actually just finished up. No, I did want to say this because this is, you know, for some people's perception of me, this might be a big development, but I did just finish the Ken Burns Revolutionary War documentary, which I
gotta be kidding me.
95% sure was not AI generated.
Wait, wasn't somebody making some like Revolutionary War like video out of AI? Was that not that one?
Not Ken Burns. I mean, he's a noted documentarian.
All right, there's probably not AI. Yeah, you're probably safe.
Yeah. No, you got to watch it, guys. It's free on PBS. Very good. Very good. I think my favorite is still always going to be the Civil War documentary that he did. And like the fun thing about it is that these are all, you know, the Revolutionary War one is like maybe 10 hours of content that you just get to watch for free. So would recommend. Civil War one goes crazy though, I will say.
Dude, so your flex right now is that you watched content that was probably not AI generated.
It's not AI, to be clear. You said 95% to troll you.
Yeah,
that's the flex.
Well, I don't know.
I watched something that wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
That's gross.
You watched one thing that wasn't AI.
You should feed the entire documentary to ChatGPT and ask it if it's AI.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, summarize the American Revolution as told by Ken Burns.
Sure. I'd love to help. Please. The American Revolution as told by Ken Burns.
Good stuff. Love listening to the podcast. I travel quite a bit and enjoy hearing other options on the state, other opinions on the state of Pokemon TCG. Attending my first regional in Baltimore this year and wondering what to expect and see what advice you might have. I am going to put a pin in that, and we may circle back. I'm going to get some advice from my my co-hosts here, or maybe the people at large. If I always feel like a new year, you know, regional
it's a great like start of the season topic.
I'm saying, right? And we're coming into it fresh. Like with every year, it's going to be something different. You know, we're going to have new advice, or it's just a new take on it, on old advice, where, you know, somebody who hasn't heard it may enjoy that. So leave us a comment if you also would love, along with Joshua, a beginning of the year what to expect video. Let's see. There was one more that I wanted. Oh yeah, this was Scott. It's kind of a parallel comment. Relatively new player, getting in my son now to the game. You guys should do a video on how new players should go about preparing for a new season. So again, yeah, more comments if you want to see something like that. I think that would be a really great episode for this in between time. With that, let's get into GLC. We had a GLC event at Full Grip, the back half of the 6K doubleheader weekend, and it was, largely dominated by Psychic and Fighting and Colorless. We see the top 8. Psychic, although the Psychic, to be fair, the Psychic decks were a bit different in their construction. Fighting deck, we had some Colorless, 2 cannon predominantly, but Colorless Control in 5th seed, Colorless 2 cannon, Psychic, and then Colorless 2 cannon. I think a lot of the 2 cannon Colorless decks took that list, Andrew, that you had played earlier in the week. So, Andrew, why don't you give us a rundown of the Full Group Games GLC event?
Yeah, this event was actually really interesting because in previous events, we had seen a much larger percentage of the field be Psychic and Fighting. And at this event, we actually saw Colorless was the second most represented deck, which was not the case at previous events. I mean, Colorless was like very small representation. So Colorless's play percentage jumped drastically. Previous events, it was Psychic was the most played, Fighting was the second most played. But this one, Colorless was the second most played archetype. And then Fighting was 3rd and Water was 4th. The meta breakdown was that 25% of the field was Psychic, 19 Colorless, 16 Fighting, 14% Water, 6% Dragon, 5% Darkness, 5% Grass, 3% Fire, 2% Metal, just 2 Lightning players. So really a big 4 there. Representation wise, and all 4 of those types were pretty evenly represented. And then the big story of the event, of course, is Colorless actually winning, because Psychic had won the previous 3, which is a really big deal. Psychic has been kind of at the top for a while now, and for Colorless to come in and just smash it, really because of 1 card. It's 2 cannon, right? I mean, 2 cannon is the only Colorless piece that was released in this set.
Yeah.
And it kind of like unlocked this new way to play this Turbo Colorless deck.
Right? Like it's that finisher. And I really liked how I saw that Colorless deck piloted on stream when I saw it, right? You're leading something like the Fan Rotom, or you're leading one of those stage 1s, right? Like the double. And then in the later part of the game, you'll have obviously the Cramorant, the Hops Cramorant, and then maybe the Hops Snorlax, and then you just finish with the 2 cannon, or you use it towards the late game where you can like Iona your opponent, and it has enough HP that they might not have enough resources to like go through it. So I think it was like a brilliantly constructed deck. I'm really interested in that deck moving forward.
Well, 2 cannon, I feel like blends so well into the identity of Colorless as well, right? Like low energy attack, consistency built into the card. Like when I think of Colorless, those are the 2 traits I think of, and 2 cannon has them both on 1 single card. And it felt like Colorless was really reliant on like basic double energy attackers for a little while there, and 2 cannon being printed allowed that extra dimension to be added back into the deck, which it translated, I think, into the outcomes here at Full Group.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess if you're not aware, I made this deck. I made this deck on Thursday night. I mean, before the 6K, right? Like all of our locals were kind of trying to figure out what to play. Obviously, they're testing Fighting, they're testing Psychic. We have a few of our locals that are very 2 cannon curious, right? And like are kind of like ready to slam it if they can kind of figure out a list. So on Thursday, I decided to skip streaming and just play, because I was going to be streaming all weekend, and I like to play on those Thursdays before the 6Ks because there's a lot of people traveling in from out of town, a lot of fresh competition. And I like to mix it up with people who travel, right? Because if people like are traveling for the whole weekend, it's fun to like get to meet with them and interact with them and stuff like that. So I played about a few hours before the event. I took what I had from my colorless deck, and I just started kind of like solitaring games to myself, just like trimming cards, seeing how many energy do I actually have to play to get turn 1 Fan Rotom attack consistently. What's the flow of the deck? If I'm setting up a board and my opponent's knocking out my active every turn, like who's my next up, and can I rattle off like 6, what would be 6 like medium-sized knockouts back to back to back to back consistently, like every game? Can I actually do that, right?
Yeah.
And can I do that in a list that doesn't play any energy acceleration? Because that was kind of the big thing. Like Riley, you said, like previously, colorless decks had relied on attackers that took maybe 2 to 3 colorless energy. Most notably, the Snorlax from Lost Origin was kind of like the big one that colorless decks had played for the longest time.
Yeah, and they were using Raihan, right? Like that, I remember that being like in Mela maybe.
Raihan or Mela. Now players are playing Mina, which just searches your deck for fairy energy and attaches it to a guy. Like,
let's go fairy representation.
Yeah, exactly, right. Crispin's a card you could play if you wanted to play 2 different types of energy. So yeah, I mean, Lost Origin Snorlax was kind of like a holdover from like the turbo colorless decks of last year, like pre double colorless energy ban. Those were like some of the best attackers. You had like Kangaskhan, you had Snorlax, right? And you would use those guys. But then once double colorless and twin energy got banned, it was like, okay, well now like the just rehashing Lost Origin Snorlax over and over again is like not a real thing. So that card kind of, the stocks on that card went way down, and basically the deck kind of like sat around waiting for like the next guy to come out to like unlock it again. And that next guy is Toucannon, because really all you need is like somebody to get you through either the beginning of the game or the like mid to late game. You just need one extra guy, because Hops Cramorant can take a third of the game by itself. That card's like one of the most broken cards in GLC. It's insane. And then you've got like your Hops Snorlax can get in there once with the double turbo energy and the Hops Choice Band. That's a 1 energy attacker right there. It could do almost 200 damage. Like, that's insane. So then you've got like 3 prizes figured out with those guys. Then you've got like Fan Rotom could take a prize versus most stuff. But like in order for Fan Rotom to take a prize, you're going to have to pick off what Fan Rotom can knock out, because it's only doing like 70, maybe 90 damage with a buff. So that's where the Hops Double comes in. Hops Double allows you to really actualize that Fan Rotom, target down like the exact guy that you want. Right. And then Hops Double is also actually a valid attacker, because its Defiant Horn ability allows you to like gust something up. So Double, whose headbutt attack does like 80 damage, you can actually buff that with Hops Snorlax. That's actually 110, and 110 clears like a lot of relevant support Pokemon in the format.
Well, even so 80 is good enough, right? For the evolving basics.
Like, I mean, you're knocking out Curlio with 80, for instance, which is like one of the most popular bench sitters in the format. So you use the triple or the ignition energy to actualize that attack with just 1 energy attachment. But then you like get to the end of the game, right? You've got your Hops Cramorant, you've got your Hops Snorlax, you've got your Double, and you've got your Fan Rotom. You've got the Toucannon. Inevitably, like something's prized, something goes wrong, you get paralleled once. Sometimes one of those guys doesn't like show up the way that you need him to. So at the end of the game, there's many times where you just are 1 prize short, right? With the cast of guys you got there, you're 1 prize short. And that's where the Greedent comes up.
The Greedent was like so sick.
Greedent was awesome.
That was my favorite card in that spot, was the Greedent, because you've always got the Squovid on board, right? And you're already playing these triple energies for the Hops Double, because Hops Double is an important part of the deck. So since you already got those in there, sometimes there's one floating around at the end of the game. And sometimes at the end of the game, all you got to do is just push a body up who could take a knockout. And Greedent's that guy. Its Spill Out attack does 210 damage, but you have to discard your hand. And in order for it to do 210 damage, you have to discard at least 5 cards. But that's not that hard to do. You just put the energy on Greedent and then Bibarel and then dump. That's it. So it's just like Bibarel, dump, game, right? So that's a fun little closer there. Jesse said he used it quite a bit. And what this deck does well is it just is very hyper aggressive. It targets down exactly what you want to. It's got the best draw engine with the most redundancy out of any deck. You not only have Bibarel with Squovit, you've also got Chinchino. You've also got Oranguru. You've also got Toucannon.
Yeah.
You're drawing an obscene amount of cards. Like with the Slow King deck, you get to take advantage of Cypher Maniac, which can get out the exact cards you want when you draw into them. You've also got Teammates, which can do that. You've got Arven and Skylo, which can like pinpoint things out of the deck too. Power cards like Hex Maniac and Reset Stamp are just like really broken cards that allow you to make comebacks. And then the most broken stadiums in Gym Leader Challenge, Parallel City and Lost City. Lost City could just allow you to completely cripple meta decks like the Fighting deck, for instance, which you would think might be a bad matchup. But at League...
Just body to rock.
Yeah, I just Lost Zone to rock. You can Lost Zone a Ting Lu. If someone's playing Ting Lu, just Lost Zone that sucker. And then they can't bring it back. So you just have all these different routes against the meta decks. And the deck is broken. I mean, it's super good. I went 6-0 at League with it on Thursday. There were 43 players there. Many traveled from out of town. And then like after winning with it on Thursday, I just tweeted it out and was like, this is the deck that's going to win the 3K. And Jesse was like, yo, you mind if I borrow your deck? I was like, you got it, dude. Gave him a couple notes and he went on and won. And we had 2 other players from our local league that also top 8'd with it. And it was awesome. We had Tony, we had Ben Peacock, both top 8 and top 4. So yeah, I mean, it was awesome. And it was really cool to see.
Called shot right there.
Called shot, dude.
So, you know, we're just from the results, but I think also like if you just look at the card pool, the 2 best decks are Colorless and Psychic, right? And I think we're kind of coming to that point in this format. What does that matchup look like? And is there any concern about that from kind of a game design perspective, that there's really just like 2 viable colors? Like, do you think that other archetypes can like build in a way to even challenge them?
Yeah. I would first push back on that there's not only 2 viable colors. I think that at least like the top half of the decks are decks that are like card pools that are very competitive, I would say. And even like decks like Lightning, I mean, have some really competitive stuff going on in them, and can take games off of like the meta decks. Water, you know, for sure has an insanely powerful card pool. So I think like you've done, I think you've shortchanged the format quite a bit by saying there's 2 viable options. Also, I think that the way that the format plays at these 3Ks is kind of like a competitive celebration of the format, where everybody tries to brew up like the most hyper competitive list that they can to play against each other. But if you ask, how does the format exist? How do people play and appreciate Gym Leader Challenge format? And for the most part, it is through leagues, right? Like the one we have at Full Grip Games, where players are playing Gym Leader Challenge week in and week out. And many leagues have adopted the badge system, which we have at Full Grip Games. And what the badge system does is it gives players an opportunity to try and win with every single different type in a calendar year, right? So there's 52 weeks in a year. You have 52 weekly leagues. That's 52 opportunities for players to try and win their local league with a deck and earn a badge of that color. And the goal is to try and win with all 10 types in the year. I mean, it's completely changed the way that our local league has run and operated. So what that does is it makes it so that the goal of Gym Leader Challenge isn't just to have the most optimal combination of 60 cards for winning a single tournament. The goal of Gym Leader Challenge is to try and build every type to be the strongest that it can possibly be with its own card pool, understanding that like you are taking on the role of a gym leader who is also stuck with like whatever freaking Pokemon are their type, right? Like it just is what it is, right? So there is a certain amount of that. It just is what it is. We're playing the game that Creatures designs for us. Like, you know, now if Creatures has shown that they really like colorless Pokemon and they really like psychic Pokemon, that's evident, right? But they also really like a lot of the other types. Maybe not fire, but like they like everything else. And they've got some really cool stuff that they print for everything else. And we've seen the metagame shift pretty drastically, I would say, over the course of Gym Leader Challenge's existence. There was a point where grass was the best type in the format. There was a point where some people considered Turbo Dragon to be the best deck in the format. There was a point where Hydro Pump was maybe the best deck in the formats. There's a point where Darkness was maybe the best deck in the formats. And so things have really evolved. And over the course of the last couple of years, it has certainly been Psychic dominating a lot of the conversation. But let me also remind you that people used to consider fighting a deck that was unplayable tier, right? Like the butt of every joke, as I just made one about fire. It used to be fighting. And now fighting is a tier 1 archetype that can win a tournament and has, right? So, and that really is just over the course of, a few sets, really, that kind of changed the narrative around fighting.
Yeah.
So we also just saw Colorless go from a deck that had very minimal representation to a deck that, completely changed with 1 card released, right? It's 2 cannon. Kind of allowed this deck to come back into action. So I think we're in a point now with the power level of the cards that Creatures is printing that like the meta can actually have some pretty seismic shifts. And as we continue barreling on for the future, more and more and more and more cards will get added to the card pool. Those cards are more than likely going to be some of the more powerful cards that we've ever seen and will impact Gym Leader Challenge in pretty drastic ways. So the format's been going on for about 5 years. The top decks have shifted numerous times. I'm very happy with how it's going. And I think that it's only going to get more interesting from here.
Thoughts?
Oh, there you go, man. Any counterpoints, JW?
Thoughts?
Well, I just gave my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, like inevitably the new cards are going to be the best cards, right? And also the single prizes aren't really balanced against each other as they get printed. They're like kind of balanced against the multi-prizers. So as the multi-prizers continue to creep up, the single prizers try and not at the same rate, but they try and match them in some capacity. So obviously the new cards are going to be implicitly powerful. I feel like the design space, I don't think colorless is necessarily like a problem, but I think the design space of colorless in the core like standard format it's based all around like consistency Pokemon. Like almost every consistency Pokemon is colorless in the modern TCG, right? Like if you take Dracloak out of the equation, you're looking at like Meowth, Kangaskhan, like Toucannon, Dunsparce, like all colorless, right? And so that of course is going to translate into GLC too, where like there's all these support engines that are built off of colorless Pokemon. That's just the design language of the Pokemon TCG as it exists right now, and it makes decks like colorless implicitly like they're going to be more consistent, like,
yeah. Where's the fire Bibarel, right?
But that's not like the design language of the fire type. The design language of the fire type is that you power up big EX Pokemon to do 5 million damage for 20 energy, and like that doesn't translate at all to GLC, right?
Right.
So.
I think that again, the challenge of Gym Leader Challenge is to try and make every type as good as you possibly can, as if you were a gym leader for that type. So like, the design language of colorless and psychic are very strong, but there are very strong things about every type. And really, as time goes on, you get more and more interesting cards printed into each pool that can really have an impact, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, there are things that are very powerful in Gym Leader Challenge that colorless does not do as well, like spreading damage or turning off abilities and things of that, item locking and things of that nature.
Yeah.
There are really powerful item lock decks, and many of them are grass. There are some very powerful spread decks, and those tend to be lightning or psychic or even fighting, right? So yeah, there are things that colorless does well, but there are also tournament strategy, tournament winning things that other decks do well, and I think that that's okay. Obviously, the thing that I was most excited about playing colorless is that the engine's just completely nuts. So the draw power is crazy.
Yeah, this is like one of the first decks that I'm looking at. Like it reminds me maybe of maybe like lightning, right? Where you could cycle through with like the Zubstrika. That always felt insanely strong to me. But, you kind of have that same thing with Skwovet Bibarel, and there's no downside because you're not pitching the...
I mean, Skwovet Oranguru is also broken.
Yeah, Skwovet Oranguru.
Now, one of our standard players, Dylan, told me that one of the things that he really likes about Gym Leader Challenge right now is that the power level is higher than standard, which is a funny thing to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But it's true. It's very true. I mean, the numbers are smaller, but but it doesn't matter because contextually, it's like
you're seeing
whatever.
All your deck, you're able to pull off these crazy comebacks.
Combos are crazier, right? Yeah. The draw power is crazier. Yeah, there's just a lot more crazy stuff going on. Yeah. So I think that is obviously a somewhat of an inevitability, is that the power level kind of continues to increase as Gym Leader Challenge starts to feel more and more expanded.
Sure.
Right? Because the card pool increases and the strategies become more streamlined and all of that, which is fun. And I think at the end of the day, the question that I'm always asking is well, what do the top decks feel like to play against each other? Is it fun? And the answer is, oh yes, there are some really good games of Gym Leader Challenge happening between the top card pools right now. So Fighting, Psychic, Water, and Colorless. Those four are the big four.
Yeah.
And all those matchups against each other feel very fun to play and interesting to watch.
I did want to shift gears to Psychic. There were a couple of Psychic in the top four, and this is Mike Gibbs' second place list, which was interesting for a number of reasons. We have started to see this Gallade, which doubles the type of, the amount of psychic energy. Or this Guard of War, which doubles the amount of psychic energy akin to Standard's Meganium ability. We've seen that pick up play in combination with the Deoxys that can snipe if it has 5 or more energy attached. And then I think the other interesting thing about this list was obviously the inclusion of the Alakazam, which provides draw, right? I almost feel like the Alakazam and the Toucannon, are parallel cards for their respective types, right? Where it's you're adding a bit of consistency, and then you also give yourself an attacker with, again, in the format, relatively high HP. So, what are your
also
thoughts?
For Alakazam too?
Yeah,
it's in Standard, you're shooting for a 15 card hand, right, to one shot Dragapult.
Yep.
In GLC, you need 6-7 cards. you're gonna one shot most guys.
Exactly.
So it's just a completely different context. And so
it's an extremely viable attacker, because as soon as you slam that Alakazam, you're probably one shotting.
Right, you're drawing most of the cards you need to one shot whatever you want.
Yeah.
The thing I think is actually interesting is the lack of presence of Iron Boulder in some of these Psychic decks. Andrew, I saw you get into a little bit of a tizzy on stream a couple weeks ago with a staunch Boulder hater, and he kind of cooked you. He kind of did, unfortunately.
That's Ted Tobin, bro. That's Ted Tobin. He's one of the top players in EU, right?
He got you.
Yeah, dude. Well, he plays Gym Leader Challenge, and he has a Psychic list that he loves. Okay, and it doesn't play. It's an interesting take on Psychic. Did Ted Tobin's list show up to this 3K and do well? It did not. Okay, but I respect Ted Tobin as a player and a cook, and if he wants to come prove his list in Akron, Ohio, we'd love to host him. So, but Mike Gibbs' list. Dude, this list is crazy. There is no Guzma in this list.
Yeah.
There is no Versus Seeker in this list.
Yeah, whatever.
Just crazy. I mean, that's unheard of for Gym Leader Challenge.
No Versus Seeker is pretty nuts in Gym Leader Challenge.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So this was a very interesting deck list, and obviously huge credit to Mike Gibbs for brewing this up. You might remember Mike Gibbs is actually the player that won the Fusion Strike 1K back during those first couple cash GLC events that we held. And he won. He beat Azul with Control in the finals with Grass, Rillaboom. So, he's an OG Gym Leader Challenge brewer. And, was also part of the the testing group that helped Trevor Redding to come up with his top 4 Hydro Pump list last year, which was like kind of reinvented the way that I thought about a Hydro Pump deck.
Yeah.
And now with this Psychic deck is like also bringing his unique deck building to the table. Like to say that we've never seen a Psychic deck look quite like this before is like not doing it justice. This is really a very wild take on the purple card pool. And to see him pilot it to such a high finish was pretty remarkable. And I think that another thing that I'm really liking about, the metagame right now is that Colors was able to do very well. There's no Wobbuffet being played in any of the Psychic lists. They've kind of like disrespected the ability deck so much that they don't even play it anymore. But like Psychic deck, there will be some counterplay. Like Psychic decks will probably start playing Wobbuffet again in order to slow the colorless deck down. And then colorless decks will probably start playing Escape Rope and cards to help move the Wobbuffet so that they can like get back to business, right? So there's going to be like that kind of counterplay going on too in the weeks ahead, which really excites me. I think that that's fun when you have those kinds of things happening in the meta.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I think one thing that I, heard you mentioning throughout the cast and certainly something that from looking at the deck list, Mike and others that played Psychic, especially with Deoxys, want to set up is that, that big Deoxys like out of nowhere or almost out of nowhere, right? Where you could attach to the Deoxys, get the Raihan, get a Malamar, and then, just juice up a Deoxys in a compromising spot for the opponent. That is another element that I feel like the Psychic deck can leverage against Colorless. Colorless doesn't have a bench barrier that they can play, right? Correct me if I'm wrong there. But that feels like a big point for the matchup is just being able to leverage Deoxys effectively.
I think there is an element of surprise factor of the Gardevoir there as well.
Yeah, and
like
if
your
getting
opponents
the Gardevoir out.
don't know about the Gardevoir angle, and they let the Kirlia like persist for a turn that maybe they could have chose to pick it off, like it opens up these Deoxys plays like so much more easily, right? So there's an element of surprise factor I think that comes with that Gardevoir that maybe is demystified, or people are at least going to play around it going forward. But yeah, that Deoxys is a threat, dude. I mean, even without the snipe, that Deoxys is still like a decent attacker.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I like that. The different type from the top 8 was fighting. Fighting we saw, a couple of full grip events ago. One, you said 4 events ago at one? It was
the Mega Evolution.
Yeah, that's crazy. The Okidogi, we see the Marshadow. Oh yeah, wait. Marshadow has to be the colorless killer. So why isn't Marshadow just like the single card that just destroys colorless? Because that can just go back to back and give itself immunity.
Well, Toucannon resists it, and so does Hops Cramorant.
So you just you go up with one of those and take a hit, and then
also, well, if you look at this particular list, it doesn't play any Energy Accelerator. So
no Barbaracle.
So no Barbaracle, right? So like this particular list,
pick that Marshadow.
It's somewhat telegraphed. It's hard unless they're Raihanning to it. The Marshadow play is somewhat telegraphed, and this colorless deck is very good at picking things off. So another time, one of the biggest things that the colorless deck can do against the fighting deck is just is Lost Zone or Rock. That's like you kind of just kneecap it by doing that.
Nuke the draw.
Oh yeah, dude. So you just will go in and you can use Double, who can do 110 with Hop Snorlax on the bench, or you can like go Fan Rotom. I've also gone like Rare Candy, Toucannon, Lost Zone or Rock just early, right? Just like pop that sucker out. If they lead a Soul Rock, like, because they do this all the time, they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna knock out like your Chinchino with a Soul Rock, and then you Lost Zone that idiot, and then they're just not drawing cards for the rest of the game, and inevitably you'll get to a point where you can Iono them or reset stamp, and they're just not going to draw out of it because you just kneecapped them there. So that's the strategy versus fighting. It could still get sketched. Don't get me wrong. Like any Ting Lu focused deck could just absolutely decimate you. Like Ting Lu could just wreak havoc on your whole board, like very easily if you don't answer it. And it's got 140 hit points, so it's hard to answer sometimes.
Yeah.
So cool. I would be looking at Ting Lu decks, but Ting Lu decks are not good against Psychic decks that are playing like Mr. Mime. So it's like it's tough. That's where the metagame kind of comes in, right?
Right. No, I mean these new crops of decks. Yeah, I've been very interested after seeing, especially the colorless deck, of just updating what I have for Gym Leader Challenge. I usually just like keep one deck on rotation. Man, I can't remember even the last time I played a Gym Leader Challenge match, official match. But this crop of lists, I've been very surprised at what I've seen. And I hope for listeners that haven't dipped their toes into this format yet, that as you're hearing Andrew talk about it, as you're seeing some of these events at Full Grip being covered, that you're more willing to maybe take that step, because I do feel like one way to look at it is it's like a hyper focused meta, and some people don't like that necessarily, but I think you laid out a pretty good argument on how we would see the format evolve in the future, and so I would really encourage players to take a look at Gym Leader Challenge.
Does not play a Pokepad?
Don't need it.
That's crazy.
I mean,
you got the Battle VIP Pass. No, it has to be better than the Battle VIP Pass.
No,
I can see
VIP
the argument
for
the VIP
dude.
Pass, but it
gets both rocks. Yeah, you're not a ball knower, dude. There should be a Pokemon.
Karina,
straight up, there should be a Pokemon. There should just be a Pokemon.
But Pokemon is Master Ball, so that's crazy.
There should be a Pokemon in there. But look at the top 4 list. Look at the top 4. Top 8 colorless control list.
Yes, Sebastian.
Because Sebastian was here. Sebastian is a top player in the in Standard right now. Senior world finalist in 2022. Mm-hmm. Also, just a player who's been have some really good results as a master now as well, and world's competitor, all that. Yep. And played a very unique colorless deck to the event. Got top 8 with it. This Ursaluna control. It's a really interesting deck where you use the Ursaluna, and it's got this Pete Hunt attack, which allows you to put any 2 cards you want from your discard pile into your hand. And then it's got Bulky Bump, which just does 200 damage. So you could just get a Luxurious Cape to stick on this thing, and if your opponent gets a problematic attacker going, you could just Bulky Bump it with a Lost Zone and just send it to the Lost Zone. And then you could just keep using Pete Hunt to put Max Potion into your hand, so that you can Max Potion this with Recycle Energy, bumps back to your hand. You just keep using Max Potion every turn. And eventually at the end of the game, you use Counter Catcher, you stall something up, you Flare Ground all their energy away, and then you Belelba and Bryson Man and mill them out. It actually was pretty dope. And watching Sebastian play it was actually a lot of fun. It's a very cool deck. Jesse was able to beat him in top 8 by going double
so
Lost Zone the Bear. Lost on the Bear. Just Lost on the Teddy. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, Lost on the Bear.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, that was kind of my thought. I saw Sebastian, I think maybe it was one of the last rounds of Swiss. I was like, yeah, this seems really cool, but with this kind of deck, like a control deck in the expand or in GLC, you're just so fragile in that, you need the Ursaluna. It feels like you need the Delcatty, right? And so being able to Lost Zone either of those pieces is going to make it really tough.
For sure.
So good call out, though. Good call out.
The Standard winner, Caleb, actually bubbled out at 9th. Double ID'd his last 2 rounds, ended 502. We had one 502 bubble. So
wow.
Caleb had another amazing weekend. I mean, winning Standard and then 9th place in Gym Leader Challenge. And then Jesse, obviously had the best weekend of everybody, winning Gym Leader Challenge, top 4 Standard. Just an incredible weekend for him.
That's
Imagine if that energy was on the Clefairy. The timeline we would be in.
Yeah, he still got it. Still got a big confidence boost for him, I'm sure. Well, folks,
super fun to watch as always, Andrew. And I think JW is about to start sending us off. So thank you, folks, for listening. But hey, if you're interested in getting plugged into the tag team ecosystem, have I got the news for you? First off, if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube as well as your favorite podcasting platforms. We do have the video version of the cast on YouTube, and we really appreciate your support there. Be sure to subscribe, leave a like, 2,000 likes, and we'll build a lightning deck to win the next GLC 3K. That's right, committing it here. So 2K likes in the video for that. But you can also follow all of us on Twitter, or X, the app formerly known as Twitter. We got JW at FlexDaddyRighteous, Andrew at EnjoyFriend.
Dude, come on.
What?
At Real John Walter, my guy.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I haven't done the Twitter readout in so long. You've been doing the Twitter readout. JW at Real John Walter. Display name FlexDaddyRighteous. Andrew at EnjoyFriend, and myself at Smiles with Riles. You can also follow the cast at Tag Team Pokemon. Thank you all so much for your continued support and listenership, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.